What's up, everyone? Welcome to Conversation with Coach Angie. I am so happy to be before you again to speak with an amazing human being that I met in 2020. We have been doing these conversations together, she and I, me and Dr. Akmal, and we have been out here trying to bless people and help people feel better, especially women. But this time, today, we're going to veer the conversation to something else, to another subject. And I'm excited to bring this before you. So actually, I'm waiting on her to come back in because she was on and then she left for whatever reason. I guess some technical difficulties. But we're going to talk about kids today. And we're going to talk about breath work. And we're going to talk about how we can help um, our community of children and young people as they're back to school, give them resources and give them alternatives to acting out and make sure that they understand how to navigate feeling overwhelmed and all the things that young adults feel um, when they're going through during the school year. So hopefully she connects back and uh and we'll see. But we've been having amazing conversations with Dr. Akmal about women's health. It's been phenomenal. A lot of women have reached out to me for more help and to get connected with him so that they can, really try and see if they can get their hormones back in order. If whatever's ailing them, we have the answer. I have the answers through my phenomenal experts. So I'm going to bring Sonia Karwal onto the stage and see, add her to the stage. Hey, Sonia.
Hi, how are you, beautiful?
How are you?
Wonderful. How are you doing?
I can barely hear you.
Can you hear me?
Maybe it's my mic or somebody's mic is very low. All right. Can say
Can,
something, anything.
can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear
Okay.
you. All right,
Okay.
beautiful. Welcome. Welcome to Conversation with Coach Angie. So happy to have you back here with me again. I was explaining to the audience that we're gonna take the conversation to children and young people and how they can navigate all of the things that they feel, being overwhelmed, whatever it is that they feel during the school year. But before we do, please introduce yourself to our audience.
So, Sonia Karwal, I am the founder of Veda by Sonia, and I'm here to share anything about wellness through Ayurveda, meditation, stress that's happening in our worlds, and how we process it to live our best life. So, that's my platform, vedabysonia.com, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. Thank you, Angie.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. So happy to have you. So Sonia, what I've done for this, because I can spew out some questions on the women stuff, but because we're focusing on something different, I have a few questions that I've written down for you, if you don't mind, that I want to ask. So we're talking back to school and we're talking stress, which is really a stressful time for the entire family because things start to change. You're more lax in the summer because everybody's doing their thing, they're vacationing. It's no set schedule, really, except for those of us who have to work. But for the kids, you have to, they may have a schedule, but sometimes they don't because it's summer, right? Well, now that they're back to school and that this is a stressful, overwhelming time for really all of the kids, why do you think it's important to focus on managing stress during this transition?
Yeah. A lot of our viewers, I'm sure, have children or know of children that are younger, high school, college. And this is a huge transformation for them. There could be transferring from kindergarten to middle school to high school to college, our journey that we took. But we didn't have the tools back then, and we didn't have the stress that they have today. So we need tools, don't we? We need tools. So there's so many things that are happening in this transition of going back to school and getting our education, which is an essential part of our life, having these new teachers, waking up, getting into routine, having these classes, and everything is about structure and discipline. And with children or young adults, it's very hard to create that. Social pressures, we know how kids can be when they're a little older, excuse me, and a little bit of friends changing in these years. Sometimes we decide to change our community and group of friends that we're with just because we're a little different now and we gravitate to people that are more like us as we grow. And of course, the academic expectations. We have pressures, obviously, from our teachers, our parents, but also on ourselves with the lifestyle we have, with our routines in sports. We have so much, and that overwhelmingly causes us anxiety and stress, and it shows up in so many different ways. So Angie has probably seen a lot of that happening in kids and also in our own families, that sometimes people have stomach ache, some kids have stomach ache, and as parents we get so intense. We're like, why aren't you feeling well? Let's fix this. So the overall family gets impacted. And that's what we're here to talk about today. How can we reduce stress with our families on a regular basis so we don't accumulate this explosive relationship with our children that don't listen? And positive solutions and experiencing it together, because we're all on this journey, and one by one we're going to be able to address some of these things that we can do to change our dynamics of our family when our youth are stressed.
Awesome. So I guess my next question would be, how do we recognize that? What are the common signs that our kids are stressed?
Explosiveness, we can see meltdowns happening. Kids don't verbalize it. They don't know how to say, what, this is a lot for me. I don't like this teacher. I mean, some kids do. Some kids do talk about it and they're like, I don't want this teacher anymore. And I get it with my kids when they have enough of too much homework or a lot going on. They're like, I need to talk to you. This is too much. So, but some kids don't. And so they get irritable. There's this lack of focus. They're not able to pay attention, and they'll quickly be spontaneous. And there's so many steps that we can take to make sure that we are able to see the signs. And these things happen in all of us, that even as adults, we have too much social media. We sometimes neglect our real responsibilities. So it does show up in the way that they're irritable, and even the lack of attention that they have to listening to you, and the talking back, the constant,
Mhm.
like, let me be heard. And that's when we need to take a minute as parents to come and listen to them.
Awesome. Well, I guess people would are out here wanting to know, give us some tips, because I'm sure they're seeing all of these behaviors, and they will be seeing it throughout the school year. And I mean, puberty, all kinds of things that's going on with our kids. What are the what are some tips that parents that you can give parents, so that they can help their kids
Mhm.
overcome this?
Well, tip number one is establishing a routine, making sure kids shut down between 8 to 10 hours, depending on their age. Younger kids need more sleep, older children need at least 8 hours, but it's important for them to get deep rest. Quality of sleep, the quantity of sleep, it all matters. And absolutely, with the social media world today, having their phones put away, making sure that they're putting that technology on hold, and then allowing them to process human interaction and human connection. So that's the first thing, especially after summer. The sun is out later in the evenings, so we're wanting to hang out a little bit later. So, making sure that we give them the time to be outside, but at the same time having a routine. So, routine is essential for all of us, isn't it? We all kind of want a routine. If we are cluttered in our mental state, then our emotional state matters. So, Routine is essential.
Mhm.
Of course, eating habits, healthy eating, and we're talking about all day eating. A lot of the time, kids are not with us. And when they're at school, there's a lot of sugar intake, school lunches. We know that what we're serving at school is not going to be like a home cooked meal. So, sending a good lunch, healthy lunch, and nutritious food that that children really start feeling that mental and emotional connection to being a little bit more present. And sugar stimulates that mental state, if too much of it anyway. And the third one is breath work. And we know that this helps us. Breath work is essential. It creates that parasympathetic nervous system that connects us to the mental and emotional state. So in allowing our
Mhm.
children to take a few minutes to take deep abdominal breathing in a moment when they're having tests, having anxiety, maybe even feeling a little bit left alone, not included in different
Mhm.
situations where they've got too many things,
Yeah.
sports and all that, taking a few minutes, just 1 minute. That's all it takes to reconnect and stay present. And, there's so many things, Angie, that we know as adults that we want to use and incorporate. But it's so important that as a family, we're able to learn something about breath. It's so important. Staying present,
Yeah.
because these moments go by very quickly. We see that with our children. They're
Yeah.
infants, and all of a sudden, they're off having their own grandbabies, right? How fast does that happen? That cycle of
Yeah.
life. So, missing
Hmm.
out on these years is so, so important.
Yeah. I love it. I love that we're paying attention to the kids and helping the parents to pay attention to it because we can tend to get very busy in our own lives, right? We're not prioritizing ourselves, and sometimes it's hard for us to properly prioritize our children. We may brush things off that they say, well, if they don't like you, so what? Don't worry about, rather than actually addressing the issue and making sure that you're present when they're talking to you about their issues, the same way you would want
Absolutely.
anyone present when you're trying to talk to them about yours.
Yeah,
So, and
that's a
I,
great.
and this,
Yeah, go ahead.
well, I was just saying, it's no judgment. I just want to make sure I said that. There's no judgment. Everybody understands everybody's busy, but I would love for us to stop saying we're busy if we can and be present. That's something
Absolutely.
that Sonia taught me. Be present in
Hmm.
every moment. Be present. So go ahead,
Yeah.
Sonia.
I have always taught my children, we get used to also as parents to find this comfort zone with friends, and as children, we don't embrace other kids that may be not our usual community. So I taught my kids at a very young age, meet somebody new. Go and explore. Maybe you have an impression. Kids, everything is changing. Kids change.
Mhm.
Maybe they said
Mhm.
something when, you were younger and, in the elementary years, and now you see them as in the high school years. Don't judge them, approach them. Just expanding this horizon of awareness, because sometimes when kids are stressed, there's a lot more going on inside than we can understand. But the most important thing, Angie, and out of all of this is as parents, we are the navigation system to our youth, our children. They are going to replicate everything that we do. So if we're
Yeah.
eating sugar and we're not in routine and we start preaching something that is a disconnect to their minds, they're gonna be like, well, you do it. Why are you eating all the
Yeah.
bad food and you're giving me vegetables that are steamed,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So it's kind of that balance of knowing, well, you know what? I want to set a good example for my kids, and I want to be able to
Mhm.
show them what it's like to be that type of person that you want them to be. Because it's easy to tell
Mhm.
people and teach them and preach them, but they shut down easily if you are not replicating that same behavior.
Yeah. If you're speaking it and not doing it, our kids will see that first. And people in
Absolutely.
general see it first, but especially our kids, because like you said, we are their first points of influence. And
Absolutely.
I used to say this when uh I would be training individuals, and there would be parents bringing their kids who are athletes to be trained, but they may be overweight, out of shape, whatever, and they would just sit and watch their kid. So you're taking me. or some of them would just bring their kids to, because I think she or he are getting to, overweight, and I want them to take control of their weight, but you haven't taken control of yours. So what are
Absolutely.
we doing here?
Absolutely.
um,
Yeah, there's something that I was taught this very early and I've used it. It's the word no. When we tell somebody no, it puts a stop to it. And when we tell our
mhm.
children no, that's the first word they say back to you. It's so important. If we start
Yeah.
saying, like shifting it and say, I
Mhm.
think there's a better choice that we can make, shifting it instead of no, because I
Yeah.
said so. It's like have the
Yeah.
conversation. And sometimes as parents, we are so busy, we miss out on listening. So
Yeah.
it is absolutely important that we address conversations with shifting the way we speak, because the way we speak is what they hear and they replicate back to you.
Yes, they do. And I'm glad we're on the subject of kids and parents, because I want to talk to you about your workshop that's coming up.
Yes, I'm so
Can you,
excited.
can you talk
I
to us
do
about it?
yes, I
Mhm.
do a lot of things with Veda, of course, my biggest passion and the biggest transformation I've received is with breath work that I've learned, and I volunteer my time. So myself and this fabulous teacher from Atlanta is coming, Elen,
Mhm.
and we are doing a workshop on
Mhm.
November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in Michigan. And we never normally do this. There's an adult program which allows
Mhm.
adults to learn a little bit about their breath and learning
Mhm.
techniques that can help them improve their sleep, improve their state of level of stress with children, and even understanding how they can stay more present. And these techniques are phenomenal. They're scientific based, and they're very practical. So it's like we have the oral hygiene with breath work and meditation, it's the mental hygiene. So we're having a workshop on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd for adults. And we also
Mhm.
have one coming up for youth that is going to be also that weekend, ages
Mhm.
from the ages of 13 to 17. And if your
Okay.
kids are stressed, having anxiety, and having a hard time acclimating to change and don't know how, they don't have solutions, and you haven't found a solution, this is an amazing workshop. So like I said, I really appreciate your support, being able to share some of this great work that this foundation has been doing. It's sky breath meditation. And it's
Mhm.
amazing. So I'm hoping to see a lot of communities from Michigan come. It will be in Troy, Michigan. So,
Oh, awesome. And I'm just so happy that we're focusing on the kids. We have to focus on the kids. We have to focus on everything, but
right.
especially kids, and especially during this time of the year where they just have to deal with so much. I mean, we started off this school year with yet another shooting somewhere. Um, they don't
Yeah.
understand. We don't understand. And and they need to know what to do when they get to a point of just being overwhelmed and not knowing what to do.
Yeah.
You
And
all,
that's
I
it.
want you to, oh, go
Yeah.
ahead. No, you
No,
go.
that's exactly what it is. We can see it showing up. We have an election coming. We have these events at schools that kids do not deserve. There's wars happening. There's so many illnesses that are coming up that we're seeing. And depression and suicide, well, depression, suicide, and mental health issues are on the rise, guys. It's no joke. We have statistics. And that's what we're going to be sharing more about is there is a problem that kids are facing, and this is the next generation of kids that are out there that are going to be our future. We cannot neglect
Yeah.
them. We have to pay attention.
We do. I love that we're doing that. I'm going to put these flyers up again. I want to thank you so much for joining us today and letting us in on this part of your world, because I know Sonia's a healer, you all. So she knows a lot about women's health and men's health and children's health. And she teaches us just different resources and things that we can do to turn to be more healthy in our minds, in our bodies, in our souls, in our spirits, and through the Ayurvedic practices. But today we're talking about breath and breath work and helping children and young kids um, learn how to navigate all that's going on in this world, and not use it to or act out, basically.
Yes.
um, for lack of a better word. And I'm just excited. I'm excited that you continue to join me and teach the world what you do. Sai and I also are in the community helping people, the disadvantaged community, with whatever they need help with. Because they can use breath work too. They can use all the things that we teach everyone as well. And it's just so important to us. It's a passion for us. Again, I'm so grateful. Go to betabysonia.com to get more information about the workshops and all that she's doing and all that she does, and connect with her. She's amazing. So before we leave,
Thank
I
you.
would love to give you the final words to our audience.
Yeah, I would say for today, especially focused on kids, replicate exactly what I said at the end, replicate what you want. And every parent needs to do some sort of service, being able to pay attention to community, giving back, whatever it may be, helping another child, exploring school activities. Sometimes we do so much in our corporate world and our busy world, but we don't have time to see what's going on in our inner world. So getting to know
Mhm.
the friends that your children are having, getting to know them by sitting with them, asking them outside of technology, and getting to know the parents of those friends to make sure that
Mhm.
your children have the right influence around them. And they say that the five, like adults, the five kids your friends your child hangs around is going to be the person that your kid will probably grow up to be, and getting to take a
Mm.
minute to do that. And because we get so busy, we don't have the time. So I do think it's essential for us to pay attention to serving, giving back, being present ourselves, and self-care is the key. Taking self-care, not only the
Totally.
physical, but the
Right.
mental, emotional as well.
Yes, I love it. Self-care, everyone. That's what we're ending with. Self-care. I thank you so much, Sonia,
Thank
for
you.
joining us to teach us self-care, breath work, all the things that you're doing for our kids, all the things that the gentleman that's going to be joining you is doing with the kids. You all go to betabysonia.com and find, just look at her website and see everything that she's doing to help us become healthier and whole human beings. So thank you again for joining us, Sonia. And I
Thank
will see
you.
you in 2 weeks, right?
We're back again.
All right. Have a good one, everybody. Good night. I mean, good
Bye.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Bye, guys.